All right, good morning. What is up, everybody? This is the Launch Podcast. Yesterday was a good day. It was a really good day.
It was a good day.
We got to have an awesome conversation with fellow friend and thru hiker, Endless. You can find him on social media at Endless P Summer. But Endless is a total monster. He's been out thru hiking for a couple of years now, in between his seasons, the winter season where he works as a firefighter in Lynn, Massachusetts. But just a super fun conversation talking about the trail and what he's learned from it, which is a lot after about 9,000 miles of hiking through the wilderness, which includes the Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, Continental Divide Trail, Colorado Trail, and many stops in between. But just a super awesome guy, great humor. If you want to get a little bit of an idea who this guy is, pop onto Instagram, check out Endless P Summer. Make sure you scroll down through his photos a decent amount, and you'll see the most epic photo, the side-by-side photo ever of mustache and long hair versus clean-shaven face and proper haircut.
With the nephew.
With the nephew in the photo. We posted it on our account. But I think you're really going to like this conversation. We get into some fun and honestly just good old trail talk.
Yeah, it's good conversation.
A lot of banter. It was the first one we've done over FaceTime. And so we did this one, we're in Malibu, and he is in Boston. So the audio will be a little bit different this time, but bear with us as we learn through that process. But super stoked to get this one out to the world. I hope you enjoy it. Music, as always, brought to you by The Palms Music. You can find them on Instagram at The Palms Music. You can find them on Spotify, The Palms Music?
Yeah, The Palms. They also have their new mixtape, Mulholland Drive, dropping on December 8th. So be sure to check them out.
We're going to roll the song Public Enemy.
Republic
Enemy.
Yeah.
Number 1 today. But check their stuff out. Johnny, Ben, big ups. Thank you for letting us use your tunes. Anyway, we're going to get this thing rolling. We'll see y'all at the top.
Holding on tight, saying what's right. Mister, tell me how you know when we're the ones living this life, fighting this fight, changing how the story goes. See, you don't understand, it's out of your hands, and we're brighter than the stars above. We are the sun. So you tell
All right, what's up, everybody? This is the Launch Podcast here. I'm chilling with Starbuck Rob.
What's up?
And we got Mr. Chris Carmody, Endless, the legend. Firefighter by day, thru hiker by night. Overall, legit superhero. I'm pretty much convinced, so. Welcome, Endless. Super stoked to have you on the show, man. How you been? What's good? What you been up to?
You're quite some good intro.
Oh, thank you. We're breaking up a little bit on this end, but whatever. We'll see what happens today. It's the first time we're doing one from across the country.
Yeah.
So,
Where are you right now, Endless?
Right now, in Mass. So about 10 miles north of Boston on the coast.
And you just got off the trail, right? Where have you been? You've been on the seat. I mean, you've triple crowned in 2 years. Yeah.
No, 3 years. 3 years.
3 years. Oh, you did. So 15, 16, 17.
Yeah, exactly.
So rad.
This year I was on the Continental Divide, and I didn't just get off the trail, but I've been off trail for like 2 months now.
Gotcha. So, yeah, it's crazy. I look at your profile, and it's like you go walk a couple thousand miles, and then you just keep walking in between wherever you're at, like different trails all day long.
Yeah, that's the goal anyway. Try to walk as much as I can all summer and stuff. But yeah, it's been great.
So for all of there's probably a zillion.
Hopefully there's a zillion.
A lot of people out there though that have no idea what triple crowning is. So Endless has walked the length of the Pacific Crest Trail, 2,600 miles, summer 2015, and then you did AT the next year.
Yeah, in 15 I did just about all of the PCT, Pacific Crest Trail, and then right at the end of it, I kind of got forced off because of wildfires.
Yeah.
So I ended up coming back east, and I got on the AT, the Appalachian Trail, for a little bit. And then in 16, I decided I wanted to do the Appalachian Trail, so I did the Appalachian Trail. and then the Colorado Trail. And then I went back out and I did those miles that I missed up in Washington on the PCT.
Yeah.
And I did the other stuff, did the Wonderland Trail up in Washington, and I don't know, just did just kind of like bouncing around, hiking all over, like hitchhiking all over. Find stuff to do, and it was great.
That's so rad. Like,
and then this year I went and I did the Continental Divide Trail. So that's like the CDT. That's from Mexico to Canada. That goes through New Mexico, Colorado, a little bit, through Wyoming, a little bit in Idaho, and then through Montana.
is that just as rad as everyone says it is? Like, I picture the CDT and I'm picturing being on top of mountain ridges the entire way. And I just know all the storms in Colorado, and I'm scared shitless in lightning storms. So
Yeah, CDT was, for lack of a better word, it's pretty gnarly.
yeah.
It's pretty crazy. I loved it. It was like, out of like the 3 long trails, the CDT, the AT, the PCT, the CDT it's the most challenging. It's the most remote. It's like the fewest amount of people. And I don't know, the most times I felt like, all right, maybe I'm going to die.
Wait, okay.
I wouldn't say it's so dangerous, but I felt like, all right, this one is more dangerous than what I'm used to.
Yeah, like just a lot of different elements, right? Like weather,
Yeah.
I mean, cold, how cold maybe it gets, and then thunder and, the lightning storms, and yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I got caught in a few good lightning storms, like in Wyoming, going through the basin in Wyoming in these big flat deserts. And that was scary. Like, I thought it was a pretty good chance I was going to get struck by lightning, but I didn't, which is nice.
Yeah. I'd say that's nice. I'm happy you're here, bro.
How close? Was like hair standing up on your body?
No, not like that, but we were like, we were trying to get across this desert and get to this little town, and it was so flat out, and we have these thunderheads coming in like all directions.
Oh my god, it scared the shit out of you.
They were like, it was like pouring and hailing and lightning all over the place, and we were running. Like, we ended up having to we just looked at a map, and we weren't on track, but we kind of like cut through. So we had to cut through some private property. And I was pretty scared I was gonna get struck by lightning, and then I thought let's see, I got myself safe from the lightning, but then I was in like this rancher's property or something.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
These dudes are gonna shoot us.
Fuck yeah! I know. That's how I felt in Arizona.
I was scared. That day I was scared, but we made it through and we lived. And then we were rewarded with like the most incredible sunset that I've ever seen. So,
did you ever encounter any ranchers that were like, dude, you gotta get the hell up out of here? Like, this isn't for any hippies just walking through the woods,
yeah.
boy.
They're like, "Get it, hippie." Nah, I didn't. I never really had any encounters like that. Not this year, anyway.
Yeah,
But,
me either.
Hey, Endless, what was going through your mind when you thought you were going to get struck by lightning? Were you like, oh my God, I'm going to die? Or were you like, holy shit, I got to run faster? Like, what were you thinking?
I mean, yeah, I thought, I was like, well, this might be my day. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I just got to hustle. So I was I was hiking with my girl. And we both were like, we're pushing it and we're getting through this. And she had to stop. Like, we got to we were literally like outrunning a thunderhead. Like, we were like right on the edge of it. It was like clear sky ahead of us and a big thunderhead. And we were right on the edge of it. And we were outrunning it. And we beat it. Like, it was a slow moving storm. So we got out ahead of it. And she had to stop, after we were like safe and sound. And then we carried on for like 10 minutes. And she realized she forgot her pole.
Yo, you're like, motherfucker, are you serious?
I told her, I said, let's just go, forget about it. And then, so it was getting dark too. Like, so it was into the night that we were hiking. And, we didn't have it was so flat out. There was no place we could dip down low to get out of, harm's way with the lightning. So it wasn't like we could set up camp or anything. And it was dark, so she ran back. And once she ran back, she couldn't find it because it was dark out. So she was looking around, and then the storm caught back up to us. I was like, "Oh man, this is no good." But we both lived, so it was cool.
Yeah, well, it's kind of I always describe the trail in storms as this experience that just reminds you that you just got to let go and relax and embrace it and like do the whatever you need to do. Like stay calm and just assess that shit. And it is what it is. You're about to get lightning all around you. Exactly. That feeling is so weird. It's like dog with its tail between its legs in a fenced-in yard with nowhere to fucking go. You're just like, oh my god. Like, it's the scariest thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. And you just gotta like kind of roll with the punches. You know, it's like the chances are you're probably not gonna die. You're probably not gonna get struck by lightning. So just hopefully it doesn't happen and be smart about it. Try not to lose your head. And you know, there was a couple different situations where I was in like that this year, and you know, I got out of it unscathed. Yeah. You know?
Well, that's the thing too about lightning is it'll freak you out. But the chances are, like by the numbers as you break it down, you're not going to die. Like very few people actually die. You might get burnt quite a bit. There's a lot of pain. There could be some brain damage that goes down, but you're most likely not going to die. I almost got struck by lightning once in Utah, and it was so humbling. It was like we're at this place called Rupel Point, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, Thunderhead's there. All the hair on my body standing up. You can hear the electricity in the sky. You feel the electricity in your feet. Just totally gnarly, but yeah, we made it too. Whatever.
Hey, Endless, would you say that's the closest you've ever come to death?
The closest I've ever come to death? I mean, I don't think so. But
you're talking about Firefighter.
We could get into firefighting. Shit.
I think I almost drowned one time. And that was the closest I came to death. But
on a hiker?
Yeah, I was in the Appalachian Trail, and what happened was I was swimming across this river, and I'm a pretty good swimmer and everything, but there's this river up in Maine, the Kennebec, that you're not supposed to swim across. You're supposed to wait for the launch. There's a canoe, and there's usually a person there that he'll take you back and forth across the river. But I got to this river. It was like the end of a day, and it had been raining all day, so I was soaked. I was out of food, and like all my gear was soaked because it poured the night before. So all I wanted to do was get to town, and there was a town like another mile after the river. So they say you're not supposed to swim across it, especially if it's been raining, because then the I don't know, like the water levels are way up and it's ripping right across. But I didn't really have much of a choice because, like I was saying, like I was out of food and I was cold and I was wet. So I decided. So I stripped down. I got into my underwear. I took everything I had. I put it inside my backpack, and I put it like inside a little trash bag to try, keep it from getting all too soaked or whatever. But that didn't really matter. And then I started swimming across the river. And the river, right as I got out there, I figured I'd turn around, like if it was too strong. The current was too strong. And right as I tried to do that and turn around, then it kind of carried me right out into the middle. And then the river kind of dog-legged.
Oh, my God. And you have all your shit on your back.
Yeah, I had all my shit on my back. And then my backpack started filling up with water.
Oh, my God.
And I'm a pretty good swimmer. But I hadn't swam in months, or like I hadn't even used like any, if you're hiking all season, you haven't used any upper body. So I get out into the middle and, my arms like all of a sudden started cramping up. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, just out there, the breaststroke. And that's when I thought I was out in the middle of that and had the current was pulling me. And I thought to myself, I was like, all right, I'm going to die. And
that's so gnarly.
I was right out in the middle. It's like, I think it's like a couple hundred yards across this river. But, and then after I realized that, I was like, well, the very worst thing that can happen is I can just like ditch my backpack and then swim across the river, walk into town in my underwear, and
get whistled at.
Yeah, a few wolf whistles. But once I realized that, I kind of really calmed down, and I stopped, my arms stopped cramping up. Because I think what happened is I was, legitimately panicking. Once I got pulled into the current, I got scared, and I started to panic, and that's what had my arms start to cramp up. But once I calmed down, it's like, all right, all I have to do is ditch my pack and I'll be able to get across. And at least I'll be able to live. Maybe my hike it'll cost me a few $100 to get my gear and stuff. But
have you ever heard of the book Deep Survival?
I've heard of that. Somebody recommended it to me. I think, I'm looking at it right now on my bookshelf. But I never got through it. I've read a couple chapters of it.
Yeah, well, it's funny. What you said there is like exactly what is basically the key point. It's like, keep calm, don't freak out, and assess the situation. That's like your way to survive, pretty much. You start freaking out and your whole body cramps up. You can't think straightly. Then you're just totally done.
Yeah. For sure. That was a scary moment, but like you said, if you just like assess the situation and chill out, you probably live.
Yeah, probably, which is a big percentage of probably. Like as long as you're not freaking out, you're usually going to figure out what it is you need to do. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, you're a firefighter, yeah? Yeah. You're still doing it.
Still doing it. Yep.
So you do that in the off seasons, in the winter time.
Yeah, I do it. I'm employed year round. I'm a professional firefighter and everything.
Right.
But so what I do, and a lot of people are always asking me this, or they don't really understand it. I'm very fortunate to do this job. I really love it, and I'm also fortunate because of how flexible it is. So what I'm able to do is swap my time around, and in the wintertime, I'll work as much as I can, picking up shifts and stuff for guys. And then in the summer, I take my vacation time, and then I line up the shifts for guys that I work for in the wintertime, and then they pay me back.
I would need an assistant to figure out all the days that need to be switched around and everything. I don't know.
It's like,
it sounds...
You need a degree.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm asking because I think it's like... Most people, not most people, but I think a lot of people think that it's like at some point it's too late to do kind of these endless hikes that you're on, pun intended, where it's like every year you're doing a big one and that, oh my God, I forget how old you are, but oh my God, now I'm 30 whatever and I can't go here. Now I'm, in my 40s now I can't go here. I have a full-time job, this, that, and the other. So I wanted to ask you that question because I don't really know anyone else that's kept their job for multiple years and still manage to through hike like you. Like you make it look so freaking easy. Like anyone, like all of us other through hikers, like so envious because it's like you have figured out a way to just do it with ease. You like go hiking and then you work, then you go hiking and then you work. But it just always seems like you're hiking. So
yeah. It's probably because I don't like. I won't post like pictures on my Instagram of like working.
Yeah.
True. But yeah, so maybe that's why it seems like I'm doing a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, definitely. Like a lot of people get hung up on that. Like, how can I go on a long hike, or how can I do like any kind of long traveling? But I just think that for me, that's where my priorities are. Is I'm trying to I want to do all kinds of cool stuff or what I think is cool. Through hiking or doing some long traveling and taking 4 or 5 months off a year to do this kind of stuff that's a priority for me. So
does that play into the name of your amazing blog that I cannot believe you've been running for whatever since the PCT, establishing a new baseline? Is that like the theme right there?
Yeah,
like your baseline is going out and doing shit? Yeah,
the blog, if you're interested in reading. I don't think there's too many readers, but I have been keeping it up for a while.
That's why we're trying.
I'll check it out.
That's why we're trying for listeners.
Yeah.
establishing a new baseline.wordpress.com. But
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. I just dove into it before I chatted with we did this because I wanted to see most recent stuff. But yeah, you go ahead and tell everyone about it.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know, just trying to. A little bit more than a journal, and trying to post pictures of what I've been up to and just explain to people what I've been up to. A lot of people always have so many questions about through hiking. People don't understand it. And I tell them, I said, just read my blog. I try to put it into detail and stuff. But
Yeah, I mean, I just love when you're reading through hiking blogs. It's really that deep through hiking and long distance running community where you can just like feel the carelessness just in a few words. Like, I was just reading, I think it's your most recent one, and you're like, I forget, they give you like the bio bag to poop in. I've never had to use one of these, and I hope that I don't. It's just like the whole tone behind it, you can tell it's just like so funny. Like, people are afraid to talk about poop. You're writing about it.
Well, I mean, so you're through hiking, like, Zach, I mean,
yeah.
Everybody talks about digging cat holes and like all about poop and stuff. I mean, it's just like it's a common topic of conversation. So it's important. Like, a lot of people won't go hiking, or they won't go out on multi-day backpacking because they don't know where to take a shit.
For real, no.
But like people on the Appalachian Trail, I'm not saying everybody, but there's a good amount of people on the Appalachian Trail that plan their days around where the privies are because they don't want to dig a hole in the woods or something. So I don't know, man. I don't know. People are afraid.
It's so wild to me.
Yeah, it's just primal, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, Endless, how did you get into through hiking?
Yes.
How did I get into through hiking? That's a good question.
Thank you.
Well, it's all right. So in 2014, I went on this road trip, and what I was doing is I'd signed up for a 50-mile race in Colorado, and I'd never like covered that kind of distance before, and never, there's a whole bunch of places I'd never been to. So I did 2 months in a Subaru all over the country, by myself.
Sounds like
and
you.
I just was like kind of, I'd go on like suggestions and stuff. There's a few people I wanted to see, a few places I wanted to see, and then I just had to end up in Colorado by like the end of the 2 months. So it was in the end of June of 14. And so I found myself up in the Olympic Peninsula, and I met this girl, and she living in Seattle. So I said, well, that's where I want to go to next. So can I stay at your house, for
Nice, dude.
stay at your house for like tonight and 2 weeks straight? And she was like, no, you can't stay there for. No, I'm just kidding. So I stayed with her in Seattle, and then she had done like half of the PCT in 2013. And I had never even like heard of the PCT, or maybe I'd heard of it, but I knew nothing about it, right? Like, I didn't know people through hiked it. Like, I knew people that through hiked the Appalachian Trail, but I didn't know much about it or anything. So she said she's going down to Yosemite and she's going to get on trail there, and she's going for a bit. So I went down, I hiked about 100 something miles with her, and I had to go because I had this race. So I left there and I drove from there to Denver. But, then I did a race, went home a few days later, and after that, it was like, I met all these people on the PCT, and I just, I was out there hiking. I hiked for like 5 or 6 days. I absolutely loved it. And I just figured, I said, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to take, take the time off next year. Whether I had to take some kind of leave of absence or whatever I had to do, was a priority in my life to hike the PCT. So I did that at 15, and and that wasn't like, at the time I was like, all right, maybe this just be a one-time thing, like hike the PCT and then get back on with my regular life, whatever that is.
Which now is hiking.
Yeah, it was like, that's all I wanted to do after that was to keep hiking, and I heard about, I'd known about the Appalachian Trail, but I heard about all these other trails I wanted to do, and I don't know. That's what I've been up to for the last 3 years now.
What about hiking did you fall in love with? Like, what part of hiking really keeps you going back?
I don't know. I really like just living in the woods. Really, not so much living in the woods, but just being very free and being very with a goal too. I mean, you can go live in the woods and just wander around. You can live in probably 20 acres and just be all over the place for a whole summer. Or with a through hike, it's you're living in the woods, but you have this constant goal. So you're just constantly moving north or moving south or whatever direction you're going in. So it was great. It was I wake up, have this great routine, get up and just walk all day long. And for me, it's very enjoyable, but it's not for everybody, but
I love what you touch on there though, because it's like every day really is. It's like there's a new goal every day. Like it's the same. It's like you walk north or south, but you feel a sense of accomplishment every single day. I mean,
right.
There's no doubt. And it's just
you keep chipping away at this, gigantic thing.
Yeah.
And eventually you get through it.
I just made a post on it yesterday, but it's like something about the trail and a through hike. It's just you're just totally present the whole time. It's like you're just walking up a trail, embracing everything around you the whole time, one day at a time. Before you know it, you've walked the length of the country.
Absolutely. There's no you're totally present. There's no checking out. There's no all right. I mean, you can take days off in a sense, but it's not like you can just take days off and go, chill out in your house or whatever. I mean, you take a 0 day and you spend it in some foreign town, or foreign to you anyway. And then after a summer or however long you're out there, it's like you just did this pretty amazing thing if you look at it, as a whole.
Yeah, dude, I don't know how. I have so much respect for you because I get so caught up in hitchhike off the trail once every month. San Francisco's coming up. Let's go see what's going on over there. And by then, Endless is like a state ahead of you. And just
you walk there.
You just have so much discipline. You have so much discipline on staying on trail, which I think is really hard because you're on the trail and. Just like you're saying, I think defining the goal is important, and you can do that. And it's like, okay, I'm going to make it a point to walk every single step and this and that. But it's so easy to get distracted because you start thinking about maybe I'll get a hot shower or a bed or, God, there's got to be some girls in that city,
Yeah, there's all kinds of distractions and easy ways to get, especially on this last trail, I felt like, I wanted to get to town a lot because it was, I start fiending for Coca-Cola or ice cream, stuff like that when I'm on trail. And it's like, I got to get to town and get something that I can't get out here. But then for me, it's like when I'm in town, it's like, all right, I get a shower, lay in a bed. It's like, I just want to get back on trail.
Dude, it's so weird. Yeah. The last place you want to meet me is in town. Because I'm like, I got to get out. I have no time for you. I got to get out. It's like, I was going to ask you, it's like, I don't know, now you're at 9,000 miles. That's like.
Yeah, I don't think, not quite 9,000, but yeah, pushing 9,000.
Well, we can round up. I don't think there's that many through hikers that know exactly how. Through hikers are so damn honest that. Nah, it's like 8,596, man.
Yeah, right. No, like a through hiker, right? If you were to bullshit, you never know who's around that's going to be like, no, man, I know that you skipped through there or something like that.
Totally true. Yeah, you're always going to get called out. Yeah, that's totally true. Do you get anxiety when you go back to society?
Anxiety? Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's transition time can be tough, but
I just remember.
It's also good to be home and stuff, too, in a way.
Yeah, totally. I just remember there being the one thing I noticed when I would get it off trail is that there's just so many options all of a sudden. And it's like, it could be good options, bad options, whatever. It could be, just as simple as a bunch of people asking you what you're up to. But all of a sudden, it's like everything, there's all these added options in regular society. And all of a sudden, your head's just going crazy. It's like, I don't know, do I want to do that? Do I want to go to dinner later? Do I want to, whereas before you're just like, okay, I'm going to walk north, and then I'm going to make some dinner tonight, and I'm going to sleep under the stars, decisions. And then I'm going to wake up and do this shit again, you know?
Yeah, no, very well put.
Yeah, the options, man, it's just, they just end up getting to you. We can just keep it simple. That's really, I think, that's probably my biggest takeaway from the trail is just the simplicity of it. Everything is real and natural, and it's just super, super simple. Yeah, I have no anxiety on trail.
I'm sure you're waking up and you're walking.
Yeah.
Hey, have you always wanted to be a firefighter?
I
feel like that's a common answer for kids.
I mean, all the little kids are like, oh yeah, I want to be a firefighter and stuff, but I didn't really. It's not something I really pursued. I took the test. I was like encouraged to take the first test. I took it well on it and got hired. So lucked out, really. I was like bartending stuff at the time, and say, well, there's this test job. So all right, I'll do that.
And how long have you been firefighting?
12 years.
Wow,
That's a
man.
long time. Good
Wow.
for you.
Yeah, I was really lucky. I mean, when I first got hired, I was young, and I mean, it took me a while to, I don't know, to really appreciate how lucky I was. But I don't know, I got a good job, and I really like doing it. So
Hell yeah, man.
I'm curious about. I've never spoken to a firefighter before. Do y'all just sit around inside the firehouse, like waiting for fires to happen? Like, what's going on in the firehouse?
Yeah, what kind of shenanigans you
What are
got
y'all
going
doing? In the movies, y'all are like playing cards and like chilling. Like, is that how it goes?
I mean, firefighting's different all throughout the country, but where I work is we're really busy. Like when we're in the firehouse, so we're responding to fires, all kinds of emergencies, fires, car accidents. We have to be EMTs, so we're responding to all kinds of medical aids.
God, that's so true. You forget.
Yeah.
One, so we go to all that stuff all the time. And I mean, when we're at the firehouse, there's all kinds of other stuff to do, like chores, training, doing stuff with the truck, upkeep with the truck, upkeep with all your, all kinds of stuff around the firehouse. There is also, I mean, there's downtime, but it's not like, I don't know, some people get an idea like you're just chilling all the time. It's not like that.
Yeah, the movies got it wrong, man.
Have you noticed?
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's the movies.
Have you noticed how the two play together, like your life and through hiking, like the takeaways from through hiking and how they apply to work? I mean, and I'm asking this question on the basis of like, I can think back about a week ago, I got awoken in the middle of the night at where I work, and it limited me. Basically, I had 3 hours of sleep that night, got to wake up and go hiking all morning. And the average person, it's like, 3 hours of sleep, like, wham, now I got to go hiking. Like, this is going to be super hard. But when you're out hiking, it's like, dude, there might be 3 nights in a row where you don't get any sleep because the wind is going like crazy. So the next day you're just lying around in the dirt trying to shut your eyes, but you make it 60 miles in those 3 days. So you feel pretty invincible. So
yeah, no, but I think I've kept myself like, from the fire department, being able to do 24 hours without any sleep. And, that definitely transitions over to through hiking. I mean, when I'm through hiking and I don't sleep, I'll whine about it and complain. And my girlfriend can attest to that. But for the, yeah, I do a lot of not sleeping at work, and I do a lot of not sleeping on the trail.
yeah.
It can be lousy when you're on the trail and you're counting on, getting a night's sleep, and then the wind's hollering all night. But what are you going to do? Put in earplugs, I guess.
Yeah, I would always put in, it was funny, my move was put in the headphones and just blast a concert. Whoever would have thought that you'd sleep through the night with a Grateful Dead concert in your ear, but it was like so much better than the...
Yeah, I usually just procrastinate all night and whatever. Insomnia. I've got insomnia my whole life, so it should be no different on the trail. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was the craziest shit you've seen as a firefighter?
Oh, I don't know, man. All kinds of crazy stuff.
How about on the trail? How about trail? Do you have any? I mean, now you've done, because you did the Colorado Trail too. We haven't even talked about that, right?
Yeah. Colorado Trail was really fun. I did that with there were 5 of us, like a crew all from the PCT, that we all hiked the Colorado Trail together, and that was really cool. But the craziest thing I've seen on trail, I don't know. I've had some really weird, like, coincidences.
Yeah.
You want me to
Let's talk about those.
All right. Let's see. This was like, some things are just like cosmic. Like, I don't even know how it happens. Like,
Hell yeah.
I was hitchhiking in Oregon, and I probably know like 5 people that live in the state of Oregon. I got picked up by one of my friends. This girl, Roadrunner, picked me up. I was like, you couldn't believe it. But, let's see. Besides that, I mean, that kind of stuff seems to happen to me all the time. So this year, right, I was hiking with Queen Bee Prickly Pear up in upstate New York in February, and we met this dude, and he had hiked the Appalachian Trail in the 90s. His name was Soy Boy, and he was up there skiing. He was carrying his skis up to the top of Mount Marcy, So that was like the high point in New York. And there's this whole like counterculture of people, of hikers that hike all the high points in every state. And this dude, Soy Boy, he was on his quest to ski all the high points in all the states. And right away, like Prickly Pear and Queen Bee, they were like, well, how are you going to do Louisiana? Or how are you going to do Florida? And like,
valid question.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's besides the point. So whatever. Soy Boy was really cool. We were talking to him. He was, he stayed at the same hostel as us that night, and he climbed up Mount Marcy and he skied down. We were like, all right, later, man. We never exchanged any information with him or whatever. We told him we had hiked, we were through hikers and stuff, but Queen Bee and I were going to hike the CDT, and we never told him like, oh, we didn't tell him we're hiking the CDT this year. So anyway, we were on the CDT, and when we're in Colorado, we got off trail to hike Mount Elbert, and a couple guys that we knew come down from Denver. This guy Java and this guy Big Cheese. You know Big Cheese, right?
Yeah, I just saw him the other weekend actually.
Big Cheese?
Big Cheese, yeah.
Nice.
So Big Cheese and Java and Queen Bee and I, we hiked Mount Elbert, and that's the highest point in Colorado. So that's like off trail, it's just like a little side field trip for us. And we get up to the top and we see this dude with skis. And we're like, what the hell is this dude doing, right? So there's just a little bit of patch of snow up there. And we see him, and he's just strapping into his skis, about to go down the top. And he looked at us. He's like, hey, endless summer. I was like, we met you on the top of New York, like in February. But completely random, and I don't know. I have no idea how that guy, like, why we met up at the same, hiking a high point in another state, like months later. Completely random, but stuff like that is always happening to me.
That's awesome, man. That means you're right where you are supposed to be. All the doors opening. That's so sick.
Yeah.
I love those moments.
I always run into people that I like met like somewhere else in the woods. It's like, oh, I met you before in the middle of nowhere, and then I just run into you again in the middle of nowhere. And it's really weird. But I got a good memory for faces or something. I don't know. Yeah,
that's so rad. What are you eating on the trails these days? Has things changed since the first trail, or are you still like? I mean, I'm asking you questions that everyone always asks me. People want to know, what are you eating out there, man? Like, you're in the woods for 5 days. Are you killing your own food?
I had a rook, and he was like, and I always would tell him like what I was eating and stuff, and he was like, well, if you get really hungry out there, will you like trap and kill your own food? And I was like, dude, I don't know how to do that kind of shit. Like, no. I eat like Pop-Tarts and honey buns and this crap, Like I haven't carried a stove since like, I don't know, I think like Julian on the PCT, which is like the very first town I got rid of my stove. So
really?
I got stoveless for 3 years. And like this year I was eating mostly like tortillas with tuna fish for dinner and tortillas and peanut butter for lunch.
So many tortillas.
Chocolate bar in the morning. Gummy bears, honey buns. Just crap. I mean, I can't eat Cliff Bars. There's a lot of shit I can't eat at all. Like, it make me want to throw up. But
just from eating it so much on previous trips.
Yeah,
exactly. Totally. I don't know how. My next through hike's gonna be interesting. I've been eating plant-based for the last 10 months, and I'm like, how? Like, it's. Do you know anyone that's doing that?
That like on trail, like that's what I've been thinking about for a long time. Like, I've got to start eating healthier on trail because it would make me so much more feel so much better on trail.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to do with like boxes and buying food. Like, you get into like Lima, Montana, or some tiny little town, and you got to buy food there. They're not going to have like, I don't know. I just don't know how to do it.
What, are you just going to like gas stations then?
Sometimes, yeah. And you end up just eating like if you want to go do your food shopping for a week in a gas station, it sucks. But,
Yeah. That's what I always say. It's like you're not resupplying at a Whole Foods. It's like Dollar General in the middle of nowhere.
yeah, Dollar General. There's a lot of those.
But you know what I realized is that it's really the quality. Some of the quality of the food is really low, like a ramen and this and that. But I think the key for me is going to be just like having some sort of nutritional supplement to put in my water to get more nutrients anyways, because whether I was eating, Mickey D's McChickens that I put in my bag all day or just eating ramen, which I guess would be vegan, you're still not getting any nutrition. So it's like, I just need to add, I think, a lot of the phytonutrients that I'm missing out. And then, breakfast, just do oats like I always do, oats bars, lunch, peanut butter tortilla wraps, and dinner like a rice wrap. Like it's not...
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, right? That sounds pretty good. You'd eat that at home probably, right? I do.
Have you ever gotten injured on trail? I feel like you getting injured in the middle of nowhere has got to be a bitch to take care of.
I've gotten some pretty significant shin splints, but nothing that I think maybe I've taken like a day or two off. But I've never got injured. No, I got the shits once.
Just once, right?
Just one time. That was this year, yeah. And but that wasn't too bad. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. Hopefully I don't get injured on trail. I really don't want to.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. Sounds like you're putting a lot of good karma in the world, so you're good.
One time I was walking through Pennsylvania, and I think I'm allergic to some kind of wheatgrass or something. I walked through something. It was early in the morning, so it was all wet, like this tall grass. And my legs and stuff, I was like, hey, I don't know what it was. But my legs were all itchy from it. I started scratching up my legs like crazy. And then I started rubbing my eyes. And then my eyes were all itchy. And I wasn't really paying attention. I was just scratching myself or whatever. And then I was rubbing the shit out of my eyes. And then all of a sudden, my left eye, I think my left eye was all closed up. I couldn't see anything out of it. And I had some kind of severe allergic reaction to something. And then my throat started closing up.
Oh, shit.
And
did you have any Benadryl on you? Because that would probably weigh too much, right? You don't want all that extra weight in your pack.
I actually carried Benadryl, but I was all out. And I ended up getting some from somebody later that day. And I took a little Benadryl. And I kept walking. I mean, it wasn't really affecting my hiking. It just was very, very uncomfortable. And eventually it went away.
Yeah, the allergic reactions are scary. It's really scary. So when I was on the Arizona Trail last fall, we're somewhere outside of Phoenix, Four Peaks Wilderness, and Plan B, Kurt, we don't even know what happened. We all walked through the same spots. Wasn't really brushing up against anything. That part might not be true. It might have been actually some bushes. But long story short is that we all walked through the same spots. And then all of a sudden, he's just broken out everywhere. His skin is rashing. His eyes are shutting up. He's having trouble breathing. And we're 30 miles from anywhere. There's no service. Of course, none of us had Benadryl because everything weighs something, and we're we're not allergic to anything, Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what the hell are we how is this gonna happen? And dude, he was so chill about it. He just breathed through it, just stayed calm, really, and took it like he could, and it went away. But man, I got stung by a wasp this past summer, and I didn't know I was allergic, and I went anaphylactic and got lucky, and now I have EpiPens. But anyone that's listening, carry Benadryl when you go for a long hike. That's the one thing that can save your life,
I started carrying an EpiPen after that happened.
Gnarly, yeah, me too.
EpiPens are heavy. I just keep carrying Benadryl or something, but I have carried in the past now. Yeah, allergies are scary because I never knew. As a kid, I didn't even, I never had any allergies. And then at one point, I had this girlfriend that she said she was always allergic to shit, and I just thought she was making it up. She didn't want to do this, so she was like, "Oh, I'm allergic to go into the woods." I almost thought that people were making allergies up, and then
I know.
I think I jinxed myself by, saying stuff like that. And then I had it's happened a couple times where I've had some really bad allergic reactions, like as an adult, which just sucks. But
well, they say you're more likely to develop allergies as you get older, right? Like you can develop more histamines. I don't know who they is, but I think it might be medical professionals. I'm not sure. No,
I believe you, but it's just not cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Amos, what's next for you? What's next on the to-do list?
Next for me is I'm going to work for a while. Next year, I don't think it's going to be as, I don't think I'm going to take much time off. But I'm looking at hiking the Arizona Trail in March. And then, I think, Zach, you did that. That takes about 5 weeks roughly.
Yeah, you'll do it in 5 weeks for sure. Yeah.
So I'm thinking Arizona Trail, and then Queen Bee and I are going to go to Nepal, we're thinking.
So sick.
Next month. And then I'm going to come back, and then we're both going to work for the summer, and then maybe a long road trip or something in next fall, for a couple months. But
yeah. You'll love the Arizona Trail. The northern part's really flat. You guys will speed through there.
Yeah, I was just in Arizona. We took a little trip out there a couple weeks ago, and I love it. I think it's just such a beautiful state.
There's a lot of unexpected too in the northern part. If you go in the fall, did you say you're going in the spring or?
Going in the spring.
Yeah. Well, the southern portion of the spring is usually really green, so that'll be nice. But there's a lot of Arizona that I didn't expect, elk bugling every day in the north in the fall. Tons of elk. I didn't even know Arizona had elk.
Yeah, I know they do. They definitely do.
Yeah, lots of them. And there's a lot of hunters out there. You wear orange if you're in the fall.
Oh, what about rattlesnakes? A whole bunch of rattlesnakes?
I only saw rattlesnakes around the Tucson area, and it was really It was so sketchy. We had just come out of Tucson from a resupply, and we were hiking through this field, and we hadn't seen a snake in, I think at that point it's 500-something miles, and we hear one rattle. And so whatever. Walk another 100 yards, and we hear a rattle and hissing. It's literally I've never heard a snake hiss at me, and you could just tell its size. We walk another 100 yards, third snake rattles, and it's dark out, and we're in a grassy field. And I was just dude, this is the worst.
I wouldn't have been able to sleep.
See, the snakes, they don't really scare me, but I like knowing that they're there. Sleep-wise, things that, I don't know. Well, that's not true. I guess when I'm cowboy camping, I'm because there's a ton of tarantulas in Arizona, too. I mean, I saw, a couple a day.
Crawl over sleeping?
What's that?
Would a tarantula crawl over you if you're cowboy camping?
That's a good question.
Let us know. Let us know.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to you doing that one. You're going to love the Arizona Trail. I'm thinking, I've been thinking about doing, there's a couple trails as well that I'm looking into. The Idaho Centennial Trail.
Yeah, I've heard about that one.
I don't know what I think of it yet. I think it'd be rad, but I'm attracted to desert trails, so I'd like to do the Grand Enchantment as well.
Yeah, that one looks
Phoenix
cool.
to Santa Fe.
It's like opening up a whole can of worms once you start through hiking, though, right? There's so much to do. So Idaho one looks really good. But you're in grizzly country for all of that?
For a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's sketchy, huh?
Which is cool, but that's just another thing to kind of keep it on a swivel about.
Yeah, what was that like on the CDT?
It was a little scary. For the most part, it wasn't too bad, but there were certain sections where everyone's like, "Oh, look out for grizzlies and stuff." So it's all right, well, maybe there's grizzlies around. We saw one, but it was at a distance.
Did you carry anything, and were you just trying to make noise, or what were you carrying?
No, I carry bear spray from Du Bois, Wyoming. No, not Du Bois, from Lander, Wyoming North. Yeah. So that's half of Wyoming. That's how they say, all right, you're going to be in grizzly country. So I carry bear spray, and I don't know.
Just keep your head on a swivel, right? I mean, you want to see them as soon as possible.
Yeah, so they say, if you're alone, you're gonna the chances that you're gonna get eaten by a grizzly when you're alone are exponentially higher. So Queen Bee and I hiked together. Like, we were pretty much within yelling distance, like, from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
And we just make, like, every once in a while, we just, like, yell out, like, whoop, whoop or something, come around a corner and make a lot of noise just so the grizzlies know that you're coming.
Yeah.
And as long as, like, you're making noise and stuff, I wasn't too worried. But it's like, if I forget to say something for a while, if we're real quiet, then I'd be like, have to yell something out. So I wasn't too worried while we were hiking. And then for the last couple weeks of the trail, we were hiking with a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really worried at all. That I just wanted to see a grizzly, for taking pictures and stuff. But there was one time that I was really scared. Was we were sleeping. We were in a tent. And I woke up in the middle of the night. And I swear to God, I heard a grizzly outside the tent, like sniffing around and stuff. And who knows? Maybe it was because the next morning we never saw any tracks or anything. So I don't know. I thought it was a grizzly.
The thrill of the woods. Some things you just never know. Yeah.
Something bump in the night. I don't know what it was, but
yeah, that's so rad.
Yeah. What's the move? What's the move if you run into a grizzly on trail? Like, what are you doing?
What's the move? Let me think about this. You're supposed to like be like, "Hey, bear," and then like back up slowly and go around it, right?
Yeah, just like I think bears, opposed to like I know mountain lions. It's like you act like you're like it's a rape situation. Like get big, talk authoritatively. Like, "Hey, mountain lion, I'm gonna fuck you up." Bears, I think it's a more gentle approach. Like, "Hey, bear, hey, bear."
Yeah.
Once again, I don't know who came up with this.
I was reading something about a mountain lion. That's why that was in my head. If somebody was getting stalked by a mountain lion or something, you're supposed to like make all kinds of noise if it's a mountain lion or even like a black bear or something. But a grizzly bear, I forget. I haven't been in grizzly bear country for a few months.
I think the moral of the story is if it's
in Massachusetts.
Yeah. I think with a grizzly bear, if it's that close that you have to contemplate what I'm going to do with my hands, you're probably already like in a really, really bad situation. I think you actually play dead.
Yeah, somebody was telling me this. I know someone that got attacked by a grizzly, and this is what you're supposed to do. And what he did is he went down and played dead and put his hands over his neck, and the bear just bit him in the butt or something.
Yeah.
And he lived. But that was a scary story.
Play dead. Put your hand over your neck. All right.
Yeah, it's
like in the fetal position and put your hands over the back of your neck. But he said he also yelled out. So then that's what got the bear to run away. So I don't know.
So interesting.
Yeah. So I try not to get eaten by a grizzly, I guess.
Yeah. Man. I don't even know what to say. If a grizzly, I would have brown shorts immediately.
Yeah, I would be freaking out.
Yeah.
Cool.
What? All right, not to put you on the spot, but what do you think is the biggest takeaway you get from the trail? For me, good, because I was about to say, do you have any more questions? But I think that's my final big question, because for me, the takeaway was massive. It was just like everything's gonna be all right, and you can, because you go through so many situations where in everyday life people. You freak out and you're so worried if it's going to be all right, but then you always make it out the other side. And the other one is like, you think it's so far and how can I do this? And, I can't do that. But the moral of the story is you can. There's so many different types of people, age, gender, size, everything on the trail. So I don't know if you had one specific thing or if it's the same thing, whatever, but I don't know. It's just such an immense experience. It's like,
yeah, I mean, you are going to get through everything. Is I don't know. That's all good stuff. For me, the thing I take away most is I can live a much simpler life after through hiking. Like when I first came home from through hiking, I remember just getting rid of a bunch of just crap that I had. I don't need any of this. Like I can carry my whole life in like a 10-pound backpack.
Hell
yeah,
dog.
Just so much easier, and like to go places without any kind of a plan, and just like I don't know, so much easier not having. And I did a whole ton of hitchhiking when I started through hiking and stuff, and you can get anywhere, you can do all kinds of stuff. All you have to do is just show up and have the right attitude, and you'll be all right. And you don't need to carry all this extra stuff through life, and just go lightly.
Yeah, that's profound, because it's like. With the hitchhiking stuff, it totally just restored my faith in humanity. Is like not everyone's a scary freak. Some people are just trying to help you out. I mean, you got to have your wits to you, but some of the best people I met was from hitchhiking on the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's really a great way to travel, and I wish that there wasn't so much fear mongering around it. Like so many people are like, oh yeah, you're gonna get kidnapped and killed and shit like that. But it's like, you know what? It's actually just a really good way to travel. People are just doing someone a favor, and then you pass that on. Like if you see someone hitching, then pick them up if it looks like it's safe to do so. Like use your wits, just like you would if you're getting into a car. And I don't know, it's a good. I wish it was more common.
What's the longest you've hitchhiked?
I hitched
One
from
leg.
Seattle to Kansas City. So
How long is that?
I don't know, maybe like 1,500 plus miles. But it wasn't one shot. So I was trying. So when I was done with the PCT at 15, I was trying to hitch from Seattle to Boston, and I ended up going down to. I was like in Yakima. So I wasn't like. I was kind of bouncing around a little bit. Like I went to Yakima, Washington. I was there for a little bit. Then I went down to PCT days. I was in Cascade Locks, Oregon, and then I was in Utah for a little bit, and then Colorado, and then I got to Kansas City, and started to get difficult hitching, like as you start getting into the red states or something. I don't know what it was, but and once I got to Kansas City, I got a cheap flight from Kansas City to Boston, and then.
All right, so I got some questions about hitchhiking because I know Zach's done a shit ton of hitchhiking. Obviously, you've done a bunch of hitchhiking. And I've never done any hitchhiking.
Never hitched once?
Never hitched once.
Oh, we're going.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. Well, I kind of want to just get an understanding, like, are you just totally surrendering and going with the flow on picking up these rides? I mean, you say you want to go from Seattle to Boston. In my head. Go ahead.
No, I mean, like someone pulls over and like you don't want to get in the car with them, which is very rare that it's happened, but I've turned down rides before.
Yeah.
I'm like,
just bad vibes?
Yeah, bad vibes. And I've been in cars where people have been pretty weird, and I'm like, all right, well, I think I'm going to get out where it's been all right, so.
Yeah.
I've been lucky.
But what I'm saying is you're not like trying to think through the whole trip. You're just like, I just got to get from here to here right now. You're thinking in very small increments, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, say you're hitching from, I don't know, LA to San Francisco, right? And someone's like, oh, well, I can take you up like 20 miles to this exit or something. You're like, all right, so that's great. So then you just end up in some place that you never, never heard of, never knew you're going to be in. Maybe you stop in and get a sandwich or something. I don't know. And then be on your way.
I love how matter of fact you are. You're like, yeah, you just stop in and get a sandwich and hang out in this random town. And, because I've thru hiked for so long, I can survive anywhere. So, I'll get a sandwich and then go scope out what the bridge situation's like. And maybe I'll set up underneath the bridge tomorrow night. Like,
hey, but a good spot.
Yeah, I got some shelter.
Well, that's the thing. Thru hiking, I've said this before, and, hopefully I never get in the position where I am homeless. But I think thru hiking sets you up and gives you good skills in order to be homeless. And, you could survive a lot of shit. But
absolutely, man. One of my biggest takeaways as well, and I don't know if it's – well, I've talked about it before. It's like, at rock bottom, at least thru hiking taught me how to survive. So rock bottom means I get to live out of my backpack in the woods, right? And then, that's like rock bottom. It's like, damn, rock bottom is pretty damn good because I know how to survive.
Does it?
Yeah, it doesn't sound that bad. It sounds like retirement.
Just can't.
Yeah. But, I mean, seriously, that applies. And then that just transfers to everyday life. It's like when you start freaking out, it's like, well, there's really not much to freak out about. All you got to do is survive. And I certainly know how to do that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty consistent takeaway is thru hiking, long distance running, adventure, it's just empowers the hell out of you to do whatever.
Gives you quite a sense of confidence in a lot of situations, which is cool.
Yeah.
After each trail, would you say that your confidence just keeps growing as you complete these trails? I mean, I imagine first starting off,
like you probably don't even plan anymore, right?
Yeah.
Well, for plan, I stopped planning, but let's see. Well, like after the CDT, I wouldn't say I had a whole bunch of like this was the hardest trail for me. They kind of beat me down a little bit. I mean, I loved it and everything, but I wasn't as confident as like when I got off the Appalachian Trail. I felt like I did great on the Appalachian Trail, and I felt really good throughout it. But I wouldn't say that my confidence keeps growing. I think that's like up and down, but
that's probably good. Like you have to be pretty humble out there because you get too confident before you know it. You're like
fucking lightning
on a
bolts
mountain
through your
ridge and you're the lightning rod, and yeah for sure.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, I had to bail off some ridges that were pretty hairy situations, and I mean that was definitely a shot to my confidence. Where before I would, I thought I could do anything, but there are some times where I was like, all right, I got to try to make the safe decision and stuff like that. And then whether that's a blow for your confidence or that's just making a smart decision, I mean, there's a fine line. So,
what's the hardest thing about doing a through hike for you? What's the most difficult thing for you?
The hardest thing? Oh man, you stumped me.
It's probably stopping the through hike.
Coming back home, knowing that it's, and that's not always that hard because by the time I come back home, I'm really looking forward to, coming home and seeing my family and stuff. So, but just, I wouldn't say coming home, but more like the transition. And I'd say I'm in the transition phase right now, which really hasn't been that bad. So through hike is not that hard.
That's so awesome. Yeah, it's like it's not that hard, man. You just walk.
But it can be tough. The transition can usually be pretty tough, coming back into society. But this year it's been pretty smooth.
Good. I'm happy for you because that post trail depression can be real.
Real thing.
Do you do anything while at home to scratch that adventure itch? I mean, you're going
fires.
Yeah, fights fires.
When I can, I get up and hike up in the Whites in New Hampshire, as much as I can. I ski as much as I can throughout the winter, and I run. I mean, I run distance, which I haven't been running as much, but I just like to get out into the woods for an hour or two here and there, and that usually takes care of that.
Yeah.
All right.
Like get up in the Whites a lot, like yeah.
I was gonna say, okay, time for the real questions. What do you put in that mustache that I saw before? And what goes into that flow, man? I know you're all cleaned up now, looking all like, city professional or maybe it's fire department appropriate.
The Queen Bee said I went from looking like a hot spring hippie to a cop.
Nice.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I posted that picture on our account today. I saw that picture of you and I like dropped my phone and was just laughing hysterically. I think you have like one of the most entertaining Instagram accounts.
Yeah, I saw one where you were completely bald with just a mustache.
Oh my God.
All right, so this is the deal with my hair and my mustache. If it was up to me, I would have the beard and the long hair all the time. But what I did is I used to always just shave my head, and then I started growing out my hair in order to, my plan was, I was just want to donate it. I was just going to do it one time. So I grew my hair out, and then I started through hiking, so I grew a beard, and then I'd come back in the fall, and we can't have a beard for work for the mask that we wear.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then we started, so when I came back, we started doing this mustache competition. We used to do that like every fall, like through November, like No Shave November.
Yeah.
We had like this big competition through, a bunch of guys I work with and stuff. And it was fun. But the mustache just looked ridiculous.
Ridiculously good.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, ridiculously awesome. Yeah. And then, so I've shaved my head a couple times. I cut my hair 2 years ago, and then I grew my hair all the way again. And then so when I come back in September or October, early October, when I was back home, my sister-in-law cut my hair, and she gave me a fade. And
Nice.
I was going to just keep my mustache, and she didn't even give me a chance to, keep it. She was like, no, it's ridiculous, and she just trimmed it right off. No mustache. I don't know. I just look like a, regular person in society, I guess.
You think you're doing great. Any last thoughts for you? That you want to tell anyone out there that's trying to go through hiking that's maybe on the fringes?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would love to just say like, quit your job and go through hiking, or. But I know it's not that easy. Like, it's not as easy as like a bumper sticker comment or something. But like, so many people have like, have children or have like college loans or all kinds of like obligations that I'm fortunate not to have. I mean, so whatever is your priority, just get at it, and I made through hiking my priority the last few years, and I was really lucky that I've been able to, just get after it. So if someone has, the ambition to do it and has the means, then yeah, quit your job and do it. Or, find a job where you can find some kind of flexibility where you can take long vacations and do the stuff that you want to do.
Right. Yeah. That's really, really good.
I love it.
That's some good stuff right there.
Whatever your priority is,
have some
get after
priorities.
it. Yeah.
Damn.
Don't work. You know what I mean? Don't wait and do shit when you're retired. I feel bad when I see people that, wait around to do stuff when they're retired, and then, it just doesn't work out for them, because I just say rather just do stuff in your prime.
Yeah. How old are you right now?
35.
You look great.
Hell yeah. No, I think that's awesome, because 35 is kind of that point too. And I think in a lot of, lives where you're like, oh, I can't do this because of work, or, I've got too much stacked up. So you're the inspiration, man.
Well,
there's ways around it. There's ways around all kinds of stuff. Like, people get themselves into a mortgage. It's like, well, you don't necessarily have to sell your house. You could just like rent it out or do other stuff to get around all kinds of stuff. Like, whatever is the obstacle, there's a opportunity to get around it and figure it out.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's always a solution.
Yeah.
Dude,
you're the man, Endless. Thank you so much, bro.
Right. Hey, thank you very much. It was nice talking with you. Zach, nice to catch up with you, and Rob, nice to meet you. If you guys see me out there with my thumb out on the road, just pull over and grab me, all right?
Got you. Got you, man.
You know it. Cool.
All right, guys. Good night. Thanks a lot.